What's going on, everybody? Cilantro here, and I am broadcasting from Cairnord in Innister. A lovely, beautiful night. Ooh, you can even see the moon. And I want to talk to you guys today about dailies. Now, the word daily can strike the fear into some MMO aficionados. There are certain unnamed popular MMOs whose dailies can be extremely grindy, and this game does have a decent grind to it, of course. It is a Asian-style MMO, Korean-style MMO, which does tend to have a little bit more grind than some other games, but it's not too bad, and the rewards you get are very substantial. You can earn anywhere from 10 to almost 20 Gilda stars per day, and Gilda stars, if you consider the amount of time it takes to actually earn them, are one of the best money-making ventures in the game for anybody. On my server, 250 Gilda Star patterns sell for 1,500 gold on a regular basis. So even if you only manage to get 10 Gilda Stars a day at about 20 or 25 minutes worth of effort, you can get 250 Gilda Stars in just under a month and sell that pattern for, well, 1,500 gold. Quite a lot of money. So I'm going to show you guys all the Gilda Star dailies that I know of. I'm here in Innister because this is one of the few locations on the east side where you can actually obtain said dailies. The first one that I'm going to show you here is on the Blue Salt Brotherhood bulletin board. That's a mouthful. Right here, sort of as you get into the entrance of Cairnord. This daily actually changes on usually on a day-to-day basis. In this case, they want stone brick, but they usually offer you a quest to get either stone brick, leather, I think fabric, and iron, 5 of each. So not really a huge deal. If you grab that daily, it'll actually lead into another daily, which I'll show off here in a little bit, hopefully, although we are at war, so it may be kind of hard to do. This daily is, I believe, only available from 20 hours on the clock to 4 hours on the clock. So just be aware of that. Basically, the way I do it usually is anytime I'm in Innister, which is pretty regularly on a day-to-day basis, I'll come in here and I will grab that daily just to get it over with, and then eventually get them. Interestingly enough, the quest actually resets on a daily basis, as you would expect, but the quests are technically different. So if you miss a day, as long as you got the previous days, you can actually complete 2 of them in the same day, as long as the quest offered to you is a different one than before. Also, while I'm here, I can't actually get this quest since I already completed it for this day, but right here at the Gladiator Arena Manager, they will usually have a daily quest to vanquish 3 foes in the arena. So if you have a build that will work in the arena, switch to that build or use your existing build, defeat 3 enemies in the arena, and that will be another daily for Gilda Star. I'm going to head up the road here real quickly and show you a few of the other dailies that are available. Right over here. So that's a total of 2 dailies over there so far for 2 Gilda Stars. If I come over this way to the animal trainer here, he'll have 2 available. If you're on West, the quest will be pretty much the same. Just go for the equivalent stuff on your own faction. Basically, these 2 quests are to raise a baby mount of both of the races' starter mounts. So pretty easy stuff. We'll get to that here in a little bit. And then over here is another easy one, looking to produce a perfume and looking to gather some materials from the lower level dungeon in the in your faction. So in this case, Palace Cellar. Basically, they want you to go to Palace Cellar. Outside of it, you don't actually have to do the dungeon to do this quest, although I do suggest you do the dungeon because there's a daily for that. And you need to, in this case, collect Hellhound leashes. I would wager that the West Side's equivalent is pretty much identical. And then the other quest is to make a perfume. You come up to this thing and give it either 30 chopped produce, 30 dried flowers, 30 ground grain, or 30 ground spices, and that will allow you to complete that quest for an easy Gilda Star. I'm actually going to need to apparently go grind up some grain or something, as I do not have any of those on me right now. So I'll go ahead and head over and do that real quickly while I'm still recording this. Disciplining yourself to do these dailies, it's definitely laborious. I mean, nobody wants to sit there and do exactly the same thing at exactly the same time every day. What I do, and it's because I'm lucky enough to live on the East Coast in the United States, is I actually do the dailies every other day. The dailies for the North American server cluster reset at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, which is our prime time, more or less, which is very nice. So what I do is I actually just do them at about 7 o'clock, right before the reset. And then as soon as the reset goes through, I do them again at 8 o'clock, and I've done them essentially for 2 days, and then I have to come back only 2 days later. So Not really a huge deal since I am lucky enough to do that. Makes it feel a little bit less grindy since I don't have to do them absolutely every single actual real day. But, you know, it's up to you. If you prefer the routine of doing them every day, that's fine. But long story short, regardless of what your goals are in ArcheAge, you're going to need money. And honestly, there is seriously very few ways to make money, more money more quickly than to do your Gilda Star dailies. You won't see the returns immediately, but as soon as you get to that 250 Gilda Star mark, and you'll get there sooner than you might think, a vast amount of currency is available to you. So I went ahead and made some ground grain, so I'm going to go ahead and grind it up here into a perfume really quickly. Not really a big deal. And now that that's been completed, I can turn it right in. And this is another Gilda Star, which will then result in a follow-up quest where I am tasked to put some perfumes into different areas. So I'm going to go ahead and start porting around for these other things. Here in just a minute, actually. I think I'm going to go ahead and try to get this quest done, despite the fact that it is indeed wartime. So usually there's a pretty big group of people who do this quest. The resource one where you have to get 5 of any given resource and take them to another place in the zone. But we will see if war will be the name of the game, or if I can get this done in relative peace. So I'm going to go ahead and head out over to the turn-in area, and I'll see you guys in a minute. Alright, here we are at the quartermaster in the fortress here, as indicated by the quest. I already happen to have the materials on me, so I can go ahead and turn this one in very quickly. You are then given a follow-up quest to get another Gilda Star, which requires you to transport 2 trade packs to the corner of the instance, in this case on the east side, to the arena. Use on Trebuchet construction site, 2 out of 2. They do behave like normal trade packs, as this individual here is demonstrating, and I will do the same. You can actually load them up on your back and go via donkey, or if you're like me and you own a farm cart, you can actually just summon the farm cart and transport the packs that way. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. Again, with it being at war, it's a little bit more dangerous, but most people don't mess with people who are doing the dailies unless there are reds around, which is very possible. You can also, if you're feeling like being a nice guy, you can actually take 3 trade packs, which I will. You only need 2, but in this case I can actually drop another one off just by the quest turn-in, so anybody who doesn't have a cart can just grab that pack and use it for their own quest. Be a nice guy, I guess. The other interesting thing is that because these do look like normal trade packs, if you're feeling slightly mischievous, you can actually load yourself and some friends up with these and act like you're doing a trade run just to see if anybody will gank you for them. Quite entertaining, I must say. The disappointment they must feel when they kill you for a trade pack only to find out that it's a quest turn-in, if they're not familiar with these. Pretty hilarious. So just something to keep in mind. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and drive myself over to the turn-in area, and I'll see you guys in a minute, barring me getting attacked. Alright, so here we are pulling into the turn-in area. Do note that the trade packs that you get from this quest, I believe, are only available from 0 to 4 in terms of the hours if you mouse over your little thing right there. So just be aware of that you won't always be able to do this leg of the quest either. But simply go over here to the Trebuchet construction site, give it the old right click and get it turned in, pick up another one if you have one available, or if somebody else has graciously dropped one off, as it looks like a few people have already done. And there you go. Immediately turns itself in. You get yourself a Gilda Star, and that one is done. So I'm going to go ahead and do my good deed for the day and drop this off here, in addition to the other ones that are here. So anybody who comes along and wants to do this in a very easy way, they have the ability to. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this leg of that. We're going to go ahead and head out and do the other 4 daily quests that we have here. To collect the leashes, to drop off the perfume, and to raise 2 mounts. So I'm going to head over to, if I could click on my thing properly, Cloud Grain in Falcorth, and see you there for the next part. Okay, here we are in Falcorth Plains. I just teleported to Cloud Grain, the nearest teleport station here, and I'm at the stables where the dailies take place for the mount growing. If you leveled through this area as a cat, you will no doubt recognize this as the area where you raise your own first mount. So nice little trip for nostalgia purposes. When I'm here, I usually like to buy 4 Vita Seeds if I need them. Vita Seeds are needed for the quest, and sometimes you actually need multiples of them. You can only be growing 4 Vita Seeds at a time, so that's usually the ideal amount that you want to be planting. And I also like to do this near the well. When I plant this cat here, the poor little, or the cute little wild snow lion cub. Aw, he's facing away from me. Hey. I like to multitask and make sure that I'm not wasting any time. So I will immediately use one of the previous day's Vita roots to feed it after the initial event, and it usually will then take about 30 seconds to get to the next stage unless it immediately eats another one. So while you're waiting it to go through these stages, you can plant your Vita roots. They do not require too much attention other than just to be planted and then harvested about 30 seconds later. Looks like my poor little kitty cat is thirsty, so I'm going to go ahead and feed or give it some water here real quick. In addition, while you're waiting for these to grow and or while you're waiting for your cat to grow, looks like we have a 30-second time period here, I like to draw water from the well. I do a lot of gardening around my housing area. Our guild has a pretty decent amount of territory available to it to be farmed, and I tend to be the one who does a lot of the farming. So water is useful for helping accelerate the growth of different plants, and while I'm sitting here waiting for the mount to be raised up, I might as well do something with my time. So you can spend the time sorting your inventory or talking with guildies or whatever you got to do, but I prefer to draw a bunch of water. It's, pretty much doing these dailies is enough to keep me stocked up with enough water to where I never have to go get it any other time, as long as I have the storage space for it, of course. Since you can't actually buy it from the vendor, you do have to actually draw it manually from the well, but not really a huge deal. So I'll just continue going through the different prompts, whatever the poor little cub wants. It looks like it's going to need a second feeding. This is, again, pretty normal. I've noticed especially the snow lion cubs can often need to be fed more than once, sometimes as much as 3 or 4 times if you're unlucky. Guess you got a cute little adorable hungry sweetie. Aw, you know how adorbs that is. Pretty darn adorable. So I'm just going to wait the other 30 seconds here, and again, good time to harvest water. After this, we're going to be heading to Arkham Iris, to the Parched Sun settlement. You can teleport right there. Good to do these dailies in groups as well, since you're probably going to be teleporting around to save time. If you can get a bunch of your guildies or other friends together to do these at the same time, it'll get much cheaper in terms of the hereafter stone cost to get yourself transported to all the different places you need to go. And hey, there's my beautiful kitty. So I'll go ahead and put that kitty in my pocket, and let's teleport over to Parched Sun. Alrighty, here we are in Parched Sun Settlement. Gonna do pretty much the exact same thing with a malfunctioning Leomorph. I usually don't bother buying extra Vita roots while I'm here. Instead, I just take the opportunity to grow to rather draw a bunch of water from the well. It's just up to you. I have noticed, I don't know if it's supposed to be this way or just a streak of my luck, that the Leomorph tends not to need quite as much of the Vita root as the cats do. I don't know, are these things supposed to be like robots or something? They look all mechanical. Some sort of horrible cyborg whatever pet. I don't know. Crazy humans and all their crazy things. Nothing more natural than a cat riding a bigger cat. That's what I say. So anywho, gonna go ahead and get this guy all raised up, and I will see you at the next place for the quests. Okay, here I am near Ambleton in the lovely Tiger Spine Mountains to do one of the other dailies that's available. I remember when I was leveling, and even in the alpha, I'd always wondered why I saw a bunch of vases here. Vases, yes. I'd seen them being planted, and I had thought I had thoroughly done all the quests in this area, and never had a quest that made me drop these vases around. So, turns out it's actually the daily, one of the dailies. I had no idea for the longest time. I can't remember which one of these is which. But anyway, there are 3 different locations. You have to plant these vases. You can actually smell them to get yourself a little bit of a stat boost for a while. Nothing too crazy and outlandish. But just follow the guy here. There's one here, one all the way up here, and one all the way up here. And I'm sure similar locations on the west side. I would likely believe that they are close to your equivalent of Ambleton, which I believe is Liliat Hills. Probably the same sort of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and knock these out. No, not going to really bother showing them off. If you just look around at the map, you can find exactly where they are. So yeah, do this real quick, and I will be back with the next daily. And here we are in the City of Towers in the lovely zone of Mahadevi at the not-so-lovely Palace Cellar entrance. And you can see it is tasking me to grab these Hellhound leashes. 12 of these must be acquired for the daily. Not really a big task to do. Just a little time consuming. Do note that if you do decide to do this around the reset time, that you'll probably have a decent amount of competition, which is to be expected. But while you're here, you can also do one of the 2 dungeon dailies available to your side. Now, just for my own personal preference, I only usually end up doing the Palace Cellar daily because it's very quick and very easy to get a group together. But there actually are 2 dungeon dailies, each of which, if you are a mentor, i.e. the higher level person, they will be available to you to run through some mentees. The first dungeon daily is Palace Cellar on east side, and I would wager that in the equivalent side on the west there is another one. And actually do note that you can do the dungeon dailies for both factions on both continents if you really want to, but infiltrating into enemy territory to do those dailies could be a little risky. So the way it works is each of these dungeons has this Lucius Quinto Raven character outside of them, and you are presented with a daily quest. If you are the mentee, i.e. the lower level person, you'll actually get 1 Gilda star and a buttload of XP. If you are the mentor, you get 3 Gilda stars and not so much in the XP, but the 3 Gilda stars is really why you're doing this. If I check my log here real quick for Palace Cellar, there it is. It will give you the full information. The wording is a little confusing, but basically a level 18 to 29 partner is required for you, the mentor, who should be from level 31 to 50 in the case of this dungeon. The other quest available is in Hadir Farm, which is in Inister, right here. It's another dungeon. The Palace Cellar dungeon can have up to 3 people in it, and for every mentee, there must be a mentor in order for those 2 to get the experience. You can take 3 people, but only 1 pair of individuals is going to get the quest finished. It's a 1-to-1 pairing. So say you're not particularly good at soloing dungeons, but you have a friend who just wants to help you out. So the 2 of you could go in as higher levels with 1 lower level, and only you would be able to complete the quest alongside the mentee. Basically, you just have to run through the dungeon, and I'll go ahead and do this here in a little bit and show you what the ending part of it is, but that's pretty much how that works. And then the same thing works with the other dungeon over here at Hadir Farm. The mentees must be level 31 through 39, I believe, where the mentors have to be 41 through 50. But in that case, you can actually have 2 pairs. Up to 5 people can join the higher level instance. And you could have 2 pairs of mentees and mentors alongside a 5th individual who will unfortunately not really get any direct benefit, but could just be there to help. I do not usually bother with that quest, as it is much harder to get a group together. It's very time consuming. It is worth 3 Gilda stars. The dungeon itself is not that hard, but actually getting a group together, and you do usually need a group of at least 4 people to be effective in there. It's a little bit of a pain. And likewise, the west side has the same thing, I'm sure, and you can actually do those quests as either faction, but good luck infiltrating into enemy territory with lobies who would actually be able to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and find myself a mentee here with whom to do the dungeon, and I'll show off a few little tips and tricks in the dungeon while I'm at it. Alright, here I am in Palace Cellar with a lovely volunteer, my friend Ortho. And I want to show you guys just a little trick here in Palace Cellar that makes it a little easier, rather a little faster to clear. There are 3 gates that you sort of have to go through where a little mini cutscene plays out, and you can actually skip all 3 of them if you have Oromancy. You can just blink right through where the gate trigger is. So for example, right there, as soon as my assistant gets in here, they will end up triggering that little cutscene and sort of be stuck in there. But as the mentor, you should be able to get in here and clear everything out pretty easily. In fact, there it is. Now, this is completely impassable, but with a quick blink, you can do that. So that's the first position, and the other 2 are here. After you kill the first boss off, if you get on this little ledge, jump to the side and blink, you'll be able to skip the second one. And right here, before the last boss, if you just jump on this little side area and do a similar side hop into a blink, you can get right through. As soon as your partner comes through, you will get the cutscene, which I just skipped. And, uh-oh, can't see the mobs now. That's not good. So as soon as the mobs show back up, we'll be in good shape. Anyway, gonna kill the mobs, and I will be right back with the end of the dungeon. Well, that was kind of interesting. So I blinked in, and the mobs all disappeared, and I was in some sort of crazy limbo world where I couldn't see any of the monsters, but they could still attack me. I've never had that happen before when blinking through there, so be careful about that, I guess. Only thing I can think of is that I canceled the cutscene without really canceling it, so I was in some sort of like cutscene limbo world or something. So if you do blink through, wait for your partner to come in and trigger the cutscene, and then you can hit escape. It'll still allow you to bypass the barrier, but hopefully won't glitch out like I did. That was fun. Anyway, once you've completed the dungeon, whether it's this one or any of the other dungeons, the mentor must first try to open the chest, which fails. Then the mentee opens their part of the chest, and then you open, and there you are. Mentor seal, and I just got a Gilda star. So that's pretty much it for this daily. We're going to head back to my house on the bacon strip to show you a few more dailies that you can do. We'll try to wrap this video up here in just a minute. So here I am in Rookborn Basin at the bacon strip, and if you have a farmer's workstation, which is obtainable by converting your small scarecrow into, well, the farmer's workstation, and then planting it on some other land that you own, so you must own another property, you can actually do 3 dailies out of this. Basically, go to your crafting station, quest, prized possessions. Each of these can be done on a daily basis. All these materials are purchasable off the auction house. You're going to need 45 cultivated ginseng total for the day, 75 garlic, and 150 rice. A little pricey, but each of these quests turns in for 5 gold and a Gilda star. So you should be able to break even, or even make a little bit of money off of your effort. It will take some labor, but I really feel like the Gilda stars are worth it. So yeah, just go ahead and craft these up. They actually turn into quest starting items. So make sure that you don't just craft them and then say, hey, where's my Gilda stars? Make sure you craft them and then use them and then turn them in for said Gilda stars. If you've ever seen people selling 45 ginseng, 75 garlic, or 150 rice on auction in those specific values of, or those specific quantities, that's why, because they're used for these 3 daily quests. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up crafting this 3rd one here. You're going to need, yeah, these aforementioned materials, and then 5 raw chicken, raw duck, and raw goose meat. Each of those is available from chicken pens, duck coops, and goose pens, coops, whatever you want to call them. Once you've actually done them, you can just go ahead and right-click. They will get activated and put into your quest log, and they can be turned in at any auctioneer. They are available no matter where you are. Just head to the nearest auctioneer, and they will be asking you for those particular meals. Go ahead and turn them in. 5 gold, 10 gold, 15 gold, and 3 Gilda stars, just like that. Alright, so to summarize, you're going to be able to get a daily from the resource quest, where you have to grab the 5 of whatever it is. The subsequent trebuchet building quest, that's 2. 2 mounts makes 4. The perfume, where you have to use the ground or chopped materials, that makes 5. The vase follow-up to that is 6. The leashes, or whatever item it is outside of the first dungeon, is 7. You have 3 farmer's workstation quests, which makes 10. And then anywhere from 3 to 12 from the dungeons that you can do. Meaning you'll have 13, possibly all the way up to 22 if you actually get all 4 dungeons, 2 on East, 2 on West done on a daily basis. So quite a few that you can get on a regular basis. If you don't have a farmer's workstation, you can still get 10 pretty easily by doing the 7 quests that I mentioned before, as well as doing one of the dungeons, just running somebody quickly through Palace Cellar, or whatever the West equivalent is, the lower level dungeon probably located in your capital city, whatever you silly Westerners have. Do note that you actually do have to be level 30 to get all of these daily quests. They are not available until you hit level 30. If you are not level 30 yet, but would still like to get some more Gilda stars or get some dailies, if you go to the Priestesses of Nui, the little respawn stations that are all over the place, they should have a daily quest available to you. Most of them are very simple, either just talking to them twice or talking to them and giving them a memory ink, I think is one of them. They're pretty easy. All you gotta do is just go talk to them and they will tell you exactly what to do. And you can get 1 Gilda star from those each day until you hit level 30. So not too bad. Hopefully you found some useful information in this guide. If you feel like I missed anything, please leave a comment telling me what I may have missed. Obviously, trade runs are a phenomenal way to get more Gilda stars. stars, but for those of us who may not have large guilds to do trade runs with, or otherwise just want a nice, consistent, and easy to do income source for Gilda stars, the dailies are what I suggest. So have a good time out there in ArcheAge, and I'll see you next time.